Bismillahirrahmanirrahim ji. Today our session is on language development in school, junior school, high school or whatever you call it ji. Previously in the previous sessions ji, we talked about what ji, language development in preschool. There in very much detail we discussed that how to go for this second language ji. When specifically we are talking about language development, we are concerned here specifically for second language development, whatever it is. If it is Arabic or it is Urdu or it is English or whatever it is, we are concerned with what? The development of second language. In previous sessions, we talked in very much detail about the different phases of language development in preschool. Now moving ahead, in that preschool, we talked about what the learning of letter sound or letter sound relation of a certain language, for example English language. What is the relation between the letter A and its sounds A? Clear? Then how to after knowing about the letter sound relation, how to join those letters to make different words in phase 2, and that is called word formation. Then from word formation we moved ahead for sentence formation. Clear? And in those three phases we also talked about the enrichment of vocabulary of a certain language. At first the vocabulary of noun, then moving ahead then vocabulary of action words, and finally joining both noun and action words into what? Sentence making. Along with that, we also talked about that comprehension of that whether when the child is reading some sentence or writing some sentence or speaking some sentence or listening some sentence, whether he is able to comprehend that or not. Clear? I'm not talking about the exactness of that. I'm not talking about the perfect comprehension. Clear? At least this is because that was the beginning phase. No? At least that the child must be grasping somewhat of that idea, somewhat of listening, somewhat of reading, somewhat of writing, that he must be familiar with certain usage of noun and verb addition to make some sentence, to say something, to say something which may be meaningful, and to listen something or read something and extract meaning out of that. But today we are moving ahead towards what? Junior school or high school or higher secondary, even whatever you call it, that how to work upon the development of L2, second language. As you can see on screen that there's a difference between L1 and L2. L1 is that whatever you call mother tongue, or native tongue. The child acquires from family, from surroundings. Clear? And there's a difference between acquisition of that language or learning of that language. Clear? There's a difference of what? Deliberate effort and normal perception. When I'm saying learning, certain deliberate effort is involved there. When I'm saying acquisition, it can be acquired, sometime through listening, sometime through gestures, sometime through indications, whatever you call it. But there was a problem, that mistakenly when we say that, as you can see on screen, that when we are saying first language, in that first language, the child at first what he listens. Here listen is not just to listen. Listening here means that listening and comprehending, listening and understanding, listening with understanding. Clear? You must have observed it at home that talking about the mother tongue or L1 or first language, in the first phase, the child is able to listen and understand something. Clear? For example, when you ask for some task, when you are asking that child to do something, though he cannot speak, suppose the child is 1 year old or 1.5, or 2 year old, the child listens to that, the child understands that and acts accordingly. Though he cannot speak, Clear? We can't even imagine about his reading skill that time. Clear? We can't even talk about his writing skill that time, but listening is there active ji. In the first phase of mother tongue, in the first phase of first language, the child listens and understands. What's the evidence of his understanding ji? Because the child acts accordingly. Na? You are a mother, that mostly when you ask the youngest child, clear, though for example when he was not there speaking, even that time I'm talking about that phase of life, when he himself was not speaking, clear, that time you used to ask him to do something, clear, you used to ask him to refrain from something, clear. Don't you think that the child was getting that somewhat of that? Clear? The first phase, child understand, listens and understand. Then second phase in mother tongue, the child starts using certain utterances, small utterances. He takes a start with what she? Nouns, different words, naming words, objects. Clear? Then he joins those naming words with what she? Action words. Clear? And starts using what? Some sort of broken sort of, clear, distorted sort of, sometimes mingled up sentences. So mean to say, we can say that after listening the child moves towards what she? Speaking. Clear? Then child moves ahead and he joins preschool or school. Clear? There certain books are there, certain written material is there. Clear? And the child starts what she? Reading. Whatever he had been listening, clear, in his mother tongue. Now he is actually reading the same, clear, using his mother tongue once again. For example, some native English speaker child, he has been dealing with, or he has been receiving English as a family language, English as a native tongue, English as a first language. And in school, once again he is confronting what she? English language in form of what she? Book reading, clear, story reading, or whatever you call it she. So he develops what she? Reading skill there. And finally he goes for what she? Writing. Clear, when he starts developing certain clear structures, or I must say that not even structures, the next phase of that, topics. Clear, this was there for the first language. But unfortunately, we took it for second language as well. Clear, for second language, the arrangement is not the same. In first language, we said what she? That listening is there at first. Then after that speaking is there then after that reading is there and then after that writing is there. Talking about the sequence, clear, that this sequence is based upon research based. Different perceptions could be there. Clear, you have the right, you reserve the right to differ from me. Clear, but whatever I learned clear, whatever I got, clear, this is the sequence, but this sequence is not applicable for L2. Clear, this was for what L1. L1 is what mother tongue, clear, native tongue, family tongue, the language which is used there in the family. And when we talk about L2 clear, the sequence is bit different. When we talk about L2, that usually, I'm saying usually, not all the time, sometimes it can be there at home, clear, but we always talk about the general conception, that usually or generally it happens that in L2, when the child goes to, clear, that preschool or school, previously we discussed in detail preschool, now we are talking about what school, clear, all the levels of school, clear, there L2, basically the reception modes are there, clear, both at a time, listening and reading. The child is listening from his surroundings in school, clear, the language of the teachers, the language of the peers. If it is L2, if the teachers are using L2, second language, when we say second language, that at the moment we are talking about English as a second language. Got my point, ji? So the child is listening English language from his surrounding. So some of the reception, clear, some of the things are getting received through what, ji? Listening. And after that, ji, there comes what? Reading. As you know that the textbook is usually here in our surroundings. Clear? That in our schools generally, majority, the textbook is the part of syllabus or curriculum. Clear? That textbook or text is not, if not textbook, text is used to, clear, to develop language. It's a custom. Clear? That conventionally, traditionally, text is used to work upon what? Language skills, to develop what? Language skills. So while reading, some of the content is getting received through what? Reading. Some I'm saying that from listening. Oral development. In preschool we discussed in detail oral development. That is oral development. The child is receiving certain messages, receiving certain sentence structures, receiving certain language all the time when the teachers or the staff or surrounding people are using English language with him. So some of the content is getting received by listening, and some is there, or not even some, that peculiarly most of the time the text is used to develop what? Language. So I can say that in my arrangement here, clear, number one is what? Listening or reading. I'm placing both side by side. I can't say that first one is listening or the second one is reading. Or I can't say that first one is reading and second one is what? Listening. Because both the modes are there, usually in schools at a time being implemented. Where teachers, when they are speaking, when the video is being played, when the audio is being played, clear, when certain text is being read or interpreted or being discussed with children, clear, the children are listening. They are receiving through what? The reception is through what? Listening. And secondly, the text is being read, or the text is being dealt with, that is what? Reading. And mostly our prime target is this one today, that the problems are there in the methodology of reading. The problems are there, clear, in the strategies, clear, to read certain text. Usually it happens that the teacher is active all the time. Clear, that I'm saying usually, I'm not saying all the time. Clear, in good schools, in standard schools, they follow certain standards of reading. Clear, modes of reading, that what should be the mode of reading, or what is the objective of reading. They try to achieve all the required results out of reading. But usually the problems occur there, generally there in what? Reading strategies, that due to which children can't develop their language skills. After that, clear, thirdly they go for what? Writing. Clear. And fourthly they go for what? Speaking. This is the sequence for second language learners. Once again, a debate could be there regarding the arrangement of that. You could be there with your arguments that speaking comes before writing. But I am of the view that, clear, that if we maintain this sequence, clear, this leads to, clear, quick speaking response. Clear, this leads to what? That maximum results out of it if we arrange it like this. Clear, that sometime it seems that you could be there with your own argument that speaking comes before what? Writing. Am I clear, ji? But I can't be sure about that speaking. I can't be sure about that meaningful speaking. Clear? I can't be sure about that speaking with exactness, or if not exactness, clear, that correctness. Clear? If I want to bring corrective speaking skill, clear, I'll have to go at first what? Corrective, correct writing skills. Clear? That correct writing skill rapidly leads to what जी? Correct speaking skill. Clear? Now, if I make a chain, that correct reading mode, clear, or appropriate reading mode leads to what जी? Appropriate writing skill. And that appropriate writing skill leads to what जी? Appropriate speaking skill. Clear? That we can remove hurdles. There are certain impediments. No? There are certain problems with second language. No? For example, when we talk about L2 as an English, clear? In English, there are certain problems. For example, sounds. Ji. Clear? That there is mostly a problem. Ji. A disagreement between sound and letters. Clear? Spelling issues are there. Clear? Then what is the language structure? Ji? There are certain problems there ji, in native language structures and foreign language structures. And usually it happens that, clear, in our surrounding, that L2, clear, we try to teach L2 through L1 ji. Clear? This is a wrong mode. This is absolutely wrong mode. Clear? I'm saying so with much authenticity ji, with exactness, that to teach L2 through L1 is wrong. Because L1 could be there with its own language structure, with its own style, with its own mode, with its own requirements. And L2 could be there with totally different requirements, with totally different structure. Because every language is there with its own structure. Because language is based upon what chi? Structures now. We use different structure. We learn at first different structures. Then we adapt those structures as per situations. Got my point, ji? So that situation are mostly the same. The sense is mostly the same. It's common. Clear? The situations are the same throughout the world. For example, if you are feeling hungry and you are using certain structure of your mother tongue to express your state of being hungry, it could be totally different from the sentence structure of second language to express the same situation of being hungry. Clear? For example, that in certain languages, that the arrangement of sentence structure could be verb, subject, object, and certain other language it could be there the subject, verb, object, and it is so. It is so. Am I clear, ji? I'm not going in that much detail, ji. I'm not concerned with linguistics here, ji. Clear? I'm generally saying. And for that, I'll go for very simple examples for you people, ji. That for example, in your L1, clear, you are saying that मेरा सर चक्कर खा रहा है या मेरा सर चकरा रहा है. मेरा सर चक्कर खा रहा है या मेरा सर चकरा रहा है. And if I'm trying to copy L2 from L1, clear, I would do what, chi? My head is circling. My head is circling or revolving. And if I'm saying मेरा सर चक्कर खा रहा है जी, my head is eating circles जी. Make it very clear ji, don't take it light. But usually it happens that we try to make our children learn L2 through L1. And in this effort, they start translating the words. This leads to what, ji? Hurdles, impediments in the way of learning of second language. Another example, जी, सदर में गोलियां चल रही हैं, सदर बाजार में गोलियां चल रही हैं. Tablets are walking in the president. Tablets are walking in the president. Structurally, syntactically, it is correct, but semantically, it's an absurd statement. Stupid type of statement. Though I had translated L1 means Urdu into English, and syntactically you can't negate that. Structurally, you can't negate its correctness. Grammatically, it is correct. The tablets are walking in the present. But meaning-wise, semantically, it is a nonsense statement. So from here, we conclude that language is not just structures. Language is not just syntax. Semantics are also there. Meanings are important. Syntax can never be common in all the languages, all the time. Sometimes it could be common, but not all the time. What is syntax? Word order. We'll discuss in detail. In simple word order. So syntactically clear that the languages can be same. Clear, but semantically, which I call what? Sense. Which I call what? Situations. Languages can't be same. The sense of all the languages is same. But structures of all the languages are not same. I may repeat emphatically that sense of all languages of the world can be same or is same. But structures of all the languages can never be the same. So for example, what is the sense? You are feeling hungry. That's a sense. That's a situation. You are drinking water yourself. That is a situation. You are getting others water. That is a different situation. You are polishing your shoes. That is a situation. You are getting somebody else's shoes polished. That is another situation. So all these situations are common in all the languages. Because what is that situation? Our conversation, communication. Language is what? Basically a source of communication. Clear? A mode of communication. We just learn it to communicate. Clear? And for communication throughout the language, mostly the situations are same. When situations are same, it means that sense is same. So we are supposed to translate the sense from one language to another. But instead of translating the sense, we start translating the words, which I did here. This is wrong. Am I clear, ji? To translate from one language into another language as per its sense is correct. As per situation is correct. Clear? But the structures of both the languages could be totally different. Am I clear, ji? If I start translating one language into other language, this is wrong. But I can translate the sense of one language into other language, that is correct, ji. Are you getting my point? Is that clear, ji? In this process, ji, another problem that when we are saying, ji, that sense must be translated. The words must not be translated. Sense is same. Words can't be same. We can't move word from word to word, ji. Here, another huge problem is there, ji. That the real objective or the real target is to learn the language for the sake of communication. Do you all agree or not? Yes or no? We learn language for what? To get good grades in exams or to pass the paper. Even in paper, even in exam, when they ask you certain question, clear, and when you are answering to that question, what are you doing basically? You are communicating, na? They are checking your knowledge, yet sometimes they are checking your comprehension skill, sometimes they are checking your memory, clear? That, and you are actually communicating them through what? Language, na? So language is important, clear, or the grammar is important. Ji, which thing is more important? Language is important, no? Clear, we are supposed to learn language, or are we supposed to learn grammar? Ji, my question. Ji. So mean to say that it's a mode of what? Communication. No? We learn language basically to communicate. And if I fail to communicate, ji, if I'm unable to communicate and I'm sticking to what? Grammar. I'm not negating, I'm not saying that grammar is not there. But make it clear that grammar is for the sake of language. Language is not there for the sake of grammar. Clear? This is the basic problem in what, ji? Teaching. As I said, na, that while reading here, problems occur there, ji. That in reading we just translate, ji. The text is there basically for the practical implementation of, application of all the norms of grammar. Got my point, ji? That whatever is there in grammar, ji, the role of, what is the role of noun there in certain sentence structure? What is the role of pronoun there? Clear, we'll discuss in detail. Clear, what are the different forms of verb there? Clear, or what is the importance of verb in sentence structure of English language? Basically, we are dealing with what? English language now. So, mean to say that the problem occurred here, ji. When I'm going into the depth of what, ji, noun, its definition, its kinds, its types, though I'm not negating it. I'm repeatedly saying that I'm not negating it. Okay, I'm saying that grammar is for the sake of what? Language. Clear? Grammar must not be there for the sake of what is some separate knowledge or some separate entity. Clear? We take it as if English, in English what she's speaking, reading, writing, listening, all these skills are something else and grammar is something else. No, not at all. It is basically linked with everything. The grammar while reading, clear, grammar while listening, grammar while writing, grammar while speaking. What's the true usage of that? Am I clear, ji? We'll learn it, ji. That why is it so important? Why do we talk about it? Clear? That we just talk about it separately. Clear? But while talking about the development of all these skills, we totally ignore that. For example, if I ask you, clear, what's the application of noun, clear, when you are writing something? What's the application of adjectives, clear, while listening to something? Am I clear? That he attempted only 2 questions. Or only he attempted 2 questions. What's the difference between these 2 statements? Here I need. So here I need what? This grammar. And this is what? A set of rules now. A set of rules. Not to develop language. Make it clear. This set of rules is not to develop language or is not to learn the language. These are rules to understand the language. Learning, I'm not saying in that sense learning. I'm saying what in sense of what? Crammed material. That where certain rules are just there on notebooks or crammed. The difference between noun, common noun and proper noun and collective noun and abstract noun we'll discuss in detail. That these rules were there, this set of rules is there to understand language. Because these rules come out of language. Language is not the result of these rules. These statements are very important. I may repeat that we got these rules out of language. We didn't develop language according to these rules. So these rules are helpful to understand language. Clear? The language is not there to be developed according to these rules. Language is itself there. Language is itself there. A certain statement is itself there. Clear? How will I understand? For example, as I said just now, he attempted only 2 questions. And only he attempted 2 questions. What's the difference between these 2 statements here? The placement of only. Yes, in first instance, I'm using only clear before this adjective, numeral adjective 2. Clear? And in second instance, I'm using only what in the beginning of a whole sentence. Both these statements are different. Am I clear? And if I say talking about grammar or set of rules, only is an adverb. In first instance, I'm using this adverb before adjective. In second instance, I'm using this only before whole sentence. Only is qualifying there that adjective or modifying that adjective. Here it is qualifying or modifying the whole sentence. And what's the difference? That he attempted only 2 questions. I'm talking about single person. Instead of he, for example, I'm using Ali. Ali attempted. Ali is a boy. And you are asking me that, sir, how many questions did he attempt? In response to that question, I'm saying that he attempted only 2 questions. For example, there were 5 questions. And he attempted only 2. So my response was there for that question. What was the question? That how many questions did Ali attempt? So I'm talking about just Ali here. That Ali attempted only 2 questions. Second instance is basically in response to that question where you're asking that how many boys attempted 2 questions? How many boys attempted 2 questions? And in response to that, I'm saying that only Ali attempted 2 questions. For example, so to understand, I'm saying what? To understand language structures, we study what? This set of rules. Not to develop language. Language is already there. To learn language, we study this set of rules. Clear? And these set of rules should be there, practiced while listening, while reading, while writing, while speaking or not? Yes or no? I may repeat my question. When you are reading certain text, clear, while reading, clear, should you practice this set of rules or not? Yes or no? Are you awake? I think you will need coffee. Obviously yes, because you yourself didn't do it. That's why you are doubtful. Obviously yes. What did you do? You just translated. Once upon a time there was a king. Clear, the king was very kind. You were sleeping, you were sleeping, you were sleeping. Teacher was reading, teacher was translating, teacher was interpreting. Clear, and you were all sleeping as you people are doing now. That's why you seem to be shocked. So I may repeat that while reading, clear, you were supposed to practice this set of rules. Why? Why am I saying reading? Why am I focusing too much upon reading? Because when we talk about your input, when you receive a language to learn, you are listening to English, clear, for example, with what purpose? Purpose of what? Learning. You are reading English in school. We are talking about what is the topic today? Don't forget. Okay, what is that? That language development in what? Junior or high school. So specifically, I'm not talking about that social discussion or surrounding. We are peculiarly today here talking about a school environment, a classroom environment. So in that environment, when you are making some child listen to something, or you are making some child read something, with what purpose? Language development. So for that language development, clear, while reading or while listening, clear, the input modes are just two. And in listening mode, clear, you don't have enough time to bother about all these rules. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. Because listening is bit rapid, quick. Through listening, mimicking can be there. Through listening, for the time being, child can copy that sentence. Or child can comprehend on its own. It is effective, I'm not negating it. It is effective. But it depends upon the amount of time. Clear? For how much time the child is listening. And average time in our education system is what? That usually only English class. Clear? Do they all listen all the time? Do they? Yes or no? Alhamdulillah that you people uttered something. Clear that if, for example, some Urdu class is there, Islamiyat class is there, do they listen to English? Clear that usually English teachers are using what? English language. So listening time is out of 24 hours is how much? 40 minutes. Got my point, And in that 40 minutes, talking, okay, that you can extend it to. That throughout the school hours, that in certain schools are following it, that everybody is talking to them in English. For what? To develop their English. Then once again, for how much time? Maximum 5 hours or maximum 6 hours. Out of 24 hours, he is receiving it for how much time? 6 hours. Are you getting my point? But talking about and in those 6 hours, can he stay? Can he reflect? Can he ponder the difference between these two? Ponder over the difference between these two? No, usually. Clear? Usually it's not possible. He just copies. But specifically talking about what? Reading. It is considered to be the best tool. Clear? Because you have time now. Clear? While reading a statement, you can stay there. Clear? You can explain, you can extract structure out of it. Am I clear? You can make him practice that structure because you are with enough time. Clear? The child can reread that statement, reconsider that statement, rethink that statement. Am I clear? To develop what? Language. To develop what? Language, not grammar. Clear? Not that set of rules. To develop what? Language. That he will learn that wherever he is using certain adverb, for example, that wherever he is using only, it matters. That whether you are using it before some verb, or before some adjective, or before some another adverb, or before some whole sentence, then he can analyze it. Then because he has time, statement is written there. Clear? He can ponder over it. Clear? He can ask question, he can practice that, he can learn out of it. Am I clear up to here? So, the first thing, this problem was there, that this sequence was not there for our children. This sequence is not there for the children who are learning L2. This was for L1. Clear? And mistakenly, somehow, somewhat, that usually it is discussed. Even if it is discussed, even this one is not implemented. Clear? If you talk about generally, I'm saying generally. Generally, no system is implemented. No sequence is followed. Generally, translations are there. Interpretations are there. The children are asked to cram, learn by heart certain summary, learn by heart certain question answers. Clear? Even they are made to learn by heart what? Topic writing. That learn these 10 topics by heart. Clear? Out of these 10, any topic could be there in exam. Learn these 10 applications. I'm talking generally, I'm not saying all the time. That there are very much good schools there. They are working on it. I'm generally saying that. Clear? Where trainings are not there, where people are not well trained, where people like me are dealing with these sort of things. So for that, that's why I mentioned that at first, listening, and among listening, which one is the most important? Reading. And why reading? Because that reading is basically a practice to learn L2. That what is certain situation in L1, the child knows about the situation. Don't you know the difference between present, past or future situation? Do you know or not? Yes or no? Yes. Alhamdulillah. Obviously you know, na? You know better, na? Clear? Whether you are talking about why are they not saying I know? Because you never thought about it, na? Clear? Because you had been, everybody had been dealing with what? Cram material. Learn this summary by heart. Learn these 8 questions. Clear? The answers to these 8 questions. Clear? By heart. A few days back in a class it happened. Na? A girl asked me that we dealt with a chapter. Clear? Certain content was there. Clear? And I made them read and comprehend that content on their own through structures. And later on I asked them to write this content in your own words. Or rephrase the whole chapter, rephrase the whole topic in your own words. She did that. But later on she asked me, sir, you didn't go for question answers. Because she was so used to it. Na? Like a robot, it was a robotic, unintentional response that she was used to. She thought that those 8 questions would be there from some other planet. Obviously, those questions are there from where? From the same text, na? From the same chapter, na? From the same content, na? From the same topic. Am I clear, ji? When you have rephrased the whole topic, aren't you able to answer certain questions from that topic? For example, if I discuss in front of you, clear, certain topic, clear, as a whole, won't you be able to, if your English is good, if your writing skill is good, if your writing skill is developed, won't you be able to write the answer to any question out of that topic? Obviously, you will be. Am I clear, ji? So that's why I'm focusing too much upon it, ji. After that, ji, now how will we do it? How will we do it? Clear? That among listening, writing, speaking, at the moment I'm targeting what, ji? Reading, ji. I'm targeting what? Reading, because this is considered to be the strongest tool for our children. clear, in our surroundings, where children are there, clear, with certain other native tongue. Even Urdu is there sometimes, a second language for them. Natively they speak what? Hindko, Pashto, Punjabi. Got it? Now how will we go for this? To do this, we call it what? Textbook adaptation. Textbook adaptation. How to adapt a text. The easiest way, the quickest way to learn and then improve language, any second language. As I said, that mode of listening is less effective because the timing of mode of listening is less in our surroundings. For example, some Pakistani child is there in USA or UK, he can easily learn that there. Because mode of listening is all the time there, active. He is listening English from everywhere, from his surroundings all the time. Am I clear? But talking about our children, who is at home using some other language, clear, outside in market or society using some other language, and school he is dealing with some other language. Sometimes our children, or not sometimes, usually our children deal with 3 languages. For example, Hindko or Pashto or Punjabi at home, Urdu in school, and English in exams. Got my point? And Arabic in front of Qari Sahib. Got my point, ji? So the reading is considered to be the most effective tool to develop language, clear, that in a shorter time, clear, with maximum results. But how? By adapting, how to adapt that text. How to adapt what? Certain text. How to use that text to develop what? Grammar? No. To develop what? Language. When the language is clear, grammar is the byproduct of that. When your language is clear, you will automatically learn what? Grammar. Have you learned the grammar of your native tongue? Anybody? You didn't learn. But still you are using it or not? Because you received all this through what? Listening. Okay? Because 24 hours you are listening to your native tongue. For me, it's not possible to make that child listen English all the time. So what is the second option for me? That is reading. Okay? And that usually is there almost now in every subject. And now usually all the subjects are there. That content of every discipline is there basically in what? English. So it means that he is having maximum reading material. One thing. And secondly, he has time to consider it. Now how to mold it? That is very important. But before moving towards this text, clear, certain concepts are very important to be cleared, to be explained, to be discussed. What is that concept? When we talk about any language, specifically I am concerned today here with what? English. With what? English. When we are saying English, my apologies because of that load shedding, this LED is not connected with UPS. Clear? Until you once again are bestowed upon with electricity, because sometimes it seems to me a blessing now, blessing of God. Clear? That is a blessing of God to have what, Ji? Lights on, electricity, energy. Energy is a blessing of, you are laughing at me, she makes fun. That I'm seriously saying that electricity is a blessing of God. Whenever it is there, I'm always thankful. I'm always grateful, Ji. Whenever it is not there, Ji, it seems to me that it was my problem, that because of my sins, I'm facing this problem, Ji. That, what should I say that? Not finding words. That the world is moving towards technology, the usage of what? Technology. Clear? When electricity is not there, which technology will I use? G. When I'm saying English, G, always remember, basically, or whatever language is, thanks to God, G, that you people saved me. It means that some of you prayed to God wholeheartedly, keenly. Sometimes it seems now that you are praying to God, that and your prayers are accepted. So now you are having the opportunity to see it here, Ji. To save the time. Basically, this is to save the time. Look at this now, Ji. When we talk about, you can see on screen, Ji, that basically we deal with what, Ji? A sentence. Whatever we utter, clear, whatever we say, usually we name it with what? A sentence. A conventional term for it is what? Sentence. Otherwise, you can also call it utterance. Clear? You can call it what? Conversation. You can call it dialogue, or you can call it whatever you call it. That conventionally we call it a sentence. Clear? Some meaningful utterances when you want to communicate with somebody. So it means that to understand some language, we need to understand its sentence. Clear? For example, Hindi, it's sentence. Pashto, it's sentence. Arabic, it's sentence. Because we are learning. In a school, the child is learning. How will you work upon that child? Previously in preschool, we have discussed in very much detail that how to form a sentence. Clear? Those three phases we discussed in that session, the previous session. Now, moving ahead of it, clear? A bit higher level. Clear? Now the child is more mature. The child is there with more exposure. Now from preschool, he is moving ahead to school. Then high school. Clear? So as per level, G. If the child is there with certain knowledge of language, he can improve it. And the child who is not having the knowledge of language, he can learn it. G. I'm using it for all the levels, make it very clear. G. I'll try my level best, clear, to cover from bottom to top, from minimum to maximum, G. At all levels, G. At all level means that somebody who doesn't know from where to begin, and from somebody who knows how to improve it, how to make it exact. In that, you can see on screen that I basically divided this sentence into two families, specifically referring to English, and in all the language it is the same. What is the first one, G? Noun family. And the second one is what, G? Verb family, G. For example, G, article, noun, pronoun, adjective. These are there considered to be in noun family. And talking about that verb, G, considered to be what, G, in verb family. Then certain other elements are there. For example, G, conjunctions, considered to be joining these families, G. Am I clear? Relatives, family, friends, family, relatives. But from where we got these two families, make it very clear. That when we talk about a sentence is always a combination of different chunks. which we usually call what ji? Words. In preschool sessions ji, available on YouTube ji, on the channel ji, we learned there ji. We took a start from what? A letter. From a letter. That we take a start. Whenever we want to learn certain language, we take a start with what ji? Letter. That after that letter sound relation. Then using that letter sound relation, what ji? Word formation. What? Word formation. When we talk about all these words, whatever we utter, whatever I am saying at the moment, I am uttering different words now. If I start uttering the words in Chinese, will you be able to understand me? No, because you are not familiar with the role of those words. Every word is there with certain role. Clear? All these words are there with certain role. Role means application in language. Role means in communication. Role in communication. Role in language. A role in language learning. A role in language development. Learning for those who don't know. And development for those who know but how to improve it. Am I clear ji? For example ji, certain word is there and the role of that word is naming. You are using that word to name something, to name some object, to name some entity, to name some state, to name even some abstract idea. And you call it what chi? This role defines its what? Grammatical type, which you also call part of speech, parts of speech, or we also call grammatical category. And this type where you actually use certain words for naming something, we call it what chi? Noun. We call it what? Noun. Whatever you are using ji. To name somebody. That is what? A naming word. That is what? A noun. For example, in your language, in Arabic language, your language means in Urdu, in Arabic, don't you think that sometime or mostly you people use adjectives for naming words? Think about it. Think about the names of people around you, whether they are adjectives or not. Ji, for example, Jamil. For example, Salim. For example, Nasir. Jamil is what? Beautiful, na? Is beautiful a name or is beautiful a quality? Beautiful is a quality, na? When you are saying that, for example, the painting is beautiful. The painting is beautiful. Clear? Your work is beautiful. Your artwork is beautiful. You are naming it? No. You are talking about quality. Dress is beautiful. Are you getting a point? But at the moment, what is the role of that word? You are using that adjective, and quality we call what? Adjective. Quality, bad or good quality, we call it what? Adjective. You are using it for what? Naming word. The role of this word at the moment is what? Naming word. So will you call it adjective or will you call it a name? Noun. It's a noun now. Usually it is what? Adjective. But when you are using it to name somebody, that becomes what? Noun. Am I clear, ji? Are you getting my point? Imagine about all the 99 names of God. Samiun, Basirun, Alimun. All these are what? Why do you call them adjectival names? Sifati naam. Because these are all adjectives. But you are using these adjectives for naming words. So it means that, at first clarify this concept. Whatever we had been cramming, whatever we had been going for rote learning, that these words are nouns, these words are pronouns, these words are adjectives, this is absolutely wrong. Clear? No word is there with certain fixity. Always the role of that word defines its type. Am I clear, ji? And among these types, ji, when you are actually, ji, for example, clear, when you are actually naming something, that is what? Noun. When you are talking about that naming is there always for some object, some entity, some person, na? Generally I am saying object, ji. And whenever you are adding something into that object, that becomes what? Adjective. Adjective is basically what? Add noun. Add noun. For example, boy is a noun. Some male entity is there, you use for it what? Boy or man. How you name a male? Either boy or man. How you name a female? Either girl or woman. How you name certain printed material? A book. You name it with what? A book or magazine or periodical or journal or whatever you call it. You name it something, na? Whenever you are adding something into that name, that is called what? Add noun or adjective. For example, good boy, tall boy, small boy, good book, beautiful painting. So that's why we call it what? Here what? Noun family. It is once again related to noun now. Articles you use, there is a certain role we'll discuss in detail one by one. At the moment I'm just giving you a sketch. And what is this sketch? That we learnt previously, mistakenly, that there are certain fixed words with certain fixed role. No, it can't be so. A word which could be their adjective at one place, could be their noun at another place. Am I clear? So whenever you are not using some noun for certain object, instead of noun you are using some other word. Instead of noun you are using some other word. For example, what was a noun? Boy. Now you don't want to repeat boy, boy, boy all the time. Now you are using what? He. For the girl you are using what? She. When you don't want to name that object repeatedly. This was basically to avoid repetition. To avoid what? Repetition. Or to avoid mentioning the names all the time. Clear? Pronouns basically came to avoid mentioning the names all the time. Arshad was there, Arshad went there, Arshad came there, Arshad did that, Arshad did this. Clear? So to avoid this repetition, you brought what? Pronouns. And what is the role of pronoun? When you are using certain word instead of what? Noun. Instead of noun. That is what? Pronoun. But not necessarily every pronoun is pronoun all the time. For example, when you are saying, I am going for example, here I am saying, that when I am using certain word, instead of noun, that is what? Pronoun. But not necessarily all the time. For example, here I am saying, what do you need? You may also see the examples on screen. What do you need? What do you need? Clear? Secondly, I'm saying ji, what book do you need? Thirdly, I'm saying ji, what a big house. What a big house. And this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm trying to say. For example, you are not getting me. And you are saying the same thing, whatever I want to say, but I failed to communicate, but I failed to convey. And when you utter that statement, in response to that statement, what would I say that? This is what I'm saying too. This is what I'm saying either. Now look at the role of what here, ji. In all these instances, ji. When I'm using what here, you obviously need something, some book, some pencil, some marker, and that is there with a certain name, no? That is a certain name. For example, do you need a pen? Do you need a marker? Do you need a book? Do you need a shirtings? Got my point, ji? Obviously, that is there with a certain name now. And when I don't know that name, instead of that name, I used what? A pronoun. And that pronoun is what? What? When the choice is unlimited. When the choice is limited, I can use that. Which one do you need? Generally, I'm saying, I'm not going into the details. For unlimited choice, for open choice, what do you need? For example, you keep it in your mind that you need a book. You need a book, and I don't know. I don't know. If I knew, I would have used what, chi? That you need which book? You need which book? Okay, and here, look at this now, ji. Now I know that you need certain book, but I don't know about the detail of that book. Whether you need history book, clear? Religious book, language book, maths book, science book, but I know that you need a book. Now I added what with book. And whenever you add something with a noun, that becomes what, chi? Adjective. It becomes what? Adjective. In first instance, what is what? Pronoun. Secondly, it is what? Adjective. Look at the third one, ji. For example, that I found certain building, ji, some mansion, some villa, some bungalow. And I got amazed by it. And to show my amazement, I'm saying, wow, what a big house. What a big house. Here, I'm using word for the whole sentence. For the whole sentence. This is an exclamatory adverb. Exclamatory adverb. The real sentence was what, chi? A big house, this is. A big house, this is. This is the real sentence. This is the real sentence. And we know that whenever we want to add something into noun, that is called what, chi? Adjective. Whenever we want to add something into verb, add something into adverb, add something into adjective, or add sometimes something into whole sentence, that is called what? Adverb. I may repeat that. We'll go for the details one by one. I'm just giving you examples here to make the mind that what would be the area of work, that how to work upon that language, whether we are supposed to translate that language or whether we are supposed to tell the differences of all these whats in that text or in that language while learning, in a learning process, because school is basically there for what, chi? a process, na? And a specific process. You people give a slot of what language there. And full credit hour slot is there. And I'm just translating certain things there. Or I'm explaining certain things are there. I'm explaining stories there. I'm explaining themes there. Though that the thematic inference is now supposed to be done by children. I'm supposed to develop their skill of translation at first, then skill of interpretation, skill of comprehension, clear? Then skill of expression, then skill of inference, clear? Extracting different themes, extracting different ideas. As we discussed in very much detail there in preschool language development session. The same is here. Don't forget about that. There we discuss what that language also serves two other purposes. What are those two purposes? On one hand, we develop language, but on the other hand, we also work upon two other things. What are those two? Development of culture and development of thoughts. Clear? Thinking can also be developed. It is also a skill that what to think, how to think, why to think. With what parameters, with what limitations, with what modes. And I'm just translating it. Okay, that is not the target. The target is at first to learn language. Above all is what? Language. Literature, that is something else. Even pieces of literature are here in textbooks of English. We can also use them for the development of thoughts. But development of thoughts in what sense? The development of extraction skill, the development of inference skill. We are not supposed to give them the exact themes of something, exact central ideas of something. We are supposed to develop their skill of extracting themes, inferring central ideas. But how would they do it? At first, they must be able to know the exactness of language because they are in a process. They are not learning it in street. You are arranging a proper class. Clear? You are denoting a proper subject for that. So for that, they must know at first the differences between all these things. And how will they get the practical application of the differences of all these things? Through this way, the way I'm doing it? No. Through what? Text. From real-time situations. When from text, somewhere they will find what do you need? In some other place they will find what book do you need? In some other place they will need they will face what a big house. There I'm supposed to give them the real-time exposure of that. That in this previously in that instance, what was a pronoun? Now in this instance, what is adjective. In some other instance, coming days, now it is an adverb because it's qualifying or modifying or adding something into the whole sentence. Clear? Look at this now. Fourth one. This is what? For example, you are saying something and I am trying to say the same thing. We both are of the same opinion. But I failed to communicate my idea to you. And you are talking about the same thing what I am trying to explain. Clear? And I say that, ma'am, this is what I am saying too. Whatever you are saying, I totally agree. This is what I am saying. So what is here? This is what? Relative pronoun. Relative pronoun, or even sometime we can also call it conjunction. This also plays the role of both. We can call it both a relative pronoun. Clear? And if not exactly relative pronoun, conjunction. Am I clear, ji? I call it both. You need not to argue with people, because I have my arguments. I'm not going into the detail of that, ji. I'm saying that this is both. On one hand, relative pronoun, on the other hand, conjunction. Am I clear, ji? In one instance, what is what? Pronoun. Second instance, adjective. Third instance, adverb. Fourth instance, conjunction. How will a child differentiate between all these? If I have not given him the exposure of all these from text, and I'm just translating the text. I'm just interpreting the text. I'm a clear, ji? Being a language teacher, I'm not interpreter. I'm instructor. I'm what? Instructor of what? Language. Have you got all the idea now? That means to say that when we talk about sentence, in sentence every word is there. We crammed it that these are nouns, these are just pronouns, these are what? Adjectives. No. Sometimes the same word could be there, ji. Pronoun in one instance, an adjective in another instance, as per its role. As per its role. And what is that role? How is it serving there? For example, if it is serving as a naming word, this is noun. If it is serving by adding something into naming word, then it is what? Adjective. If it is serving what to express the role of something, the work done of something, action of something, or state of something, then I'll call it what? Verb. And when I am adding something into that word, that verb, that action, for example, that Ali runs. Ali runs. How is he running? Clear? When is he running? Where is he running? Clear? All these words are performing the role of what? Adding something into that action of running. So these are simply what? Adverbs. Do I need to cram the definitions of all these? Or were we concerned with the definitions or kinds of all these things? Not at all. We were concerned with the application of all these in real life language. Clear? And real language development. When I am saying kinds, now move towards kinds. For example, you can also see it on screen, that even sometime all these parts of speech or grammatical categories get exchanged. How? We learned it. We learned about what? Common noun, proper noun. Is it so or not? Abstract noun, material noun. Are you getting a point? For example, look at this. Boy is what? A common noun. Girl is what? A common noun. But look at this now. This is the boy. This is the boy, clear, who was absent yesterday. Who was absent. Look at this now. This is the boy who was absent. Now look at this. When I'm saying the boy, now it's not a common boy. It's not a common noun. It has become what? A proper noun, a specific noun. Got it, We learned, boy a common noun. No, a boy is not a common noun. It's proper. Why proper? He was absent. He was absent. What makes him specific? For example, I'm saying that, call the boy. You ask me that which boy? I'm specifying the boy who was absent. Now this word is not common. It's not a common noun now. It's a proper noun. On the other hand, for example, that Shakespeare. Shakespeare is a proper noun. No? Iqbal, Qaid-e-Azam, these are proper nouns. No? Aslam, Akram, these are all what? Proper nouns. Agreed? You learned it what? Proper nouns. But look at this. He is the Shakespeare of this age. He is the Shakespeare of this age, look at this now. Can he be the Shakespeare? He passed away long ago. But I am generalizing it. For example, certain person in this age writes in his style, though he was matchless. I can never accept that. Even Iqbal said so. That there can never be another Shakespeare now after him. Just for an example. Shakespeare was Shakespeare. If Iqbal said so, that nature gave us Shakespeare and may not give us again. Iqbal said so about Shakespeare. But for example, I am saying that he is a Shakespeare of this age. He is a Ghalib of this age. For example, certain person is doing the poetry in the style of Ghalib. Clear? I am generalizing the name of Ghalib for that person. Now here in this case, Shakespeare or Ghalib are not proper nouns. These are what? Common nouns. So while language development in school, while dealing with certain text, while dealing with language, have I clarified all these things or not? Or did I just go for the definition of noun or pronoun or kinds of definitions? We are not concerned with the kinds of definitions. We are concerned with the application of all those parts of speech within the text, within the real language, not separately. For example, whatever I am doing now, it is wrong. It is what? It's the wrong mode. It's the wrong methodology, wrong way. I'm just giving you examples because you're all teachers. Alhamdulillah. You're supposed to do it from text. Real life situation, real time, because text is dealing with certain situation, certain topic, certain concern. On the other hand, for example, you can see it on screen, certain examples. Honesty, usually it is what? Abstract noun. Beauty, abstract noun. Anger, abstract noun. Honesty is the best policy. Now honesty is what? Abstract noun here. Now, very important question here, ji. That why are we supposed to learn all these things? Because we are not clear. When we are not clear about the differences of all these things, can we, number one, understand language clearly or exactly? No. Can we communicate correctly? No. That can lead to misunderstanding. If the person doesn't know that when you want to generalize some common noun, some proper noun, or when you want to specify some common noun, you are supposed to add what article? The with it. It can lead to misunderstanding. It can lead to misunderstanding. My listener would be there with misconception that I'm actually mistaken. I'm calling somebody from this age Shakespeare. It can lead to certain confusion. It can lead to confusion. I'll give you certain other examples. That wrong language leads to what? Confusion, misunderstanding. For example, honesty is the best policy. Ji. Am I clear? Ji? For example, ji, beauty is not everlasting. Ji. Beauty is not everlasting. Look at this now. Am I clear? But when I am saying, ji, the beauty of a person, the beauty of a woman is her character. Now look at this. Is it a noun here? No, it's an adjective. For example, she is the beauty of my family. She is the beauty of my family. I'm not using it as a name now. Am I clear, ji? I'm not using it as a what? Abstract noun. I'm using it for what? Adjective. For what? Adjective, ji. For example, ji, when I'm saying, ji, on the day before, the night before Eid, ji, or the night before New Year, ji. Clear? When people are there out with their children for shopping in a positive sense, I'm saying, ji, I saw beauty everywhere, ji. Clear? Beauty was roaming in the streets, ji. What do I mean by this? Am I talking about some person? No. I'm talking about what, ji? I'm metaphorically saying that everything seemed what? Beautiful to me. On earthquake day, ji, I saw death's dance. I saw the dance of death. So am I talking about some person? Am I talking about the dance of some person? No. I'm metaphorically saying it. So if I'm not clear about all these things, all these differences, that a noun, which is a noun in one instance, can be adjective in some other instance. In one situation it is what? A noun. In another situation it is what? Adjective. In one situation, clear, I'm talking about, clear, here it is adjective, ji. Here it is noun. Got my point, ji? Here it is, the beauty is not everlasting. In both instances, these are adjectives, ji. These are what? Adjectives, ji. Clear? For a noun, I can use it like this, ji. I saw beauty everywhere. I saw beauty everywhere. This is noun. My apologies, ji. I saw beauty everywhere. Or there another example, ji. She is the beauty of my family, ji. For example, my niece, my daughter. To express my love for her, when I'm saying that she is the beauty of my family. Am I clear, ji? I saw beauty everywhere. Now it is what? Noun. In these two examples, it is what? Adjective. To mean to say that a noun can become adjective in another place. Look at a screen now, ji. For example, ji, brick. And honesty, for example, ji. Honesty is the best policy. In first instance, it is what? A noun. But when I'm saying the honesty of my friend is well known, the honesty of my teacher is well known, ji. Now I attach this honesty with what? A noun. It has become what? An adjective. Go for the second instance, ji. There I'm talking about what, ji? Brick. Brick is usually considered what, ji? A material noun. What? A material noun. And material nouns are used what, ji? Singular. Or what? Singular. I can't say bricks. That's why I mentioned deliberately there what, ji? Brick. The house is made up of what, ji? Brick and stones. Brick and stone. Got it, ji? But in the second instance, ji, when I'm saying, ji, he threw bricks on me, now I'm not using it as a material noun. I'm using it now as a common noun. Do you people use bricks as a material? As a weapon of war? As a weapon of fight? Or do you people keep bricks at home now? That I have actually 2 guns, 20 bricks at home, ji. Because brick is a material noun usually. Clear? But sometimes you use it as a common noun. When you are using it as a common noun, you can use it plural. And noun is there with its own importance of number, referring to what? Singular or plural. What? We'll discuss ahead. Are you getting my point, Ji? Up till now, I'm trying my level best to clarify this concept that we are not supposed to stick to the exact definition of certain words in certain language. Because from where we took a start, that every word is there with certain role in every other situation, in every other sentence. We will try to understand the role of that word, and the role of that word would lead to a clear understanding of that language. Clear? This was the role of grammar, to understand the language. Am I clear, Ji? Instead, we have been dealing with what, Ji? Certain entities to be crammed, Ji. Clear? The definitions to be crammed, Ji. And here, can you define the bricks the same way as it is there in first instance and as it is there in second instance? Can you say that brick is material noun in both the examples? In first example, brick is what? A material noun. And in second example, brick is what? A common noun. That he threw bricks. And secondly, are you noticing the difference that whenever it is a material noun, I'll use it what? Singular. When it is a common noun, I can make it plural. And what is the importance of singular or plural in real language? It matters a lot. We'll come to know. We'll discuss it in detail. Am I clear up till here, Ji? Are you clear about these misconceptions now? Now, where you had crammed certain things that this is noun, this is pronoun. Clear? Now, what is the role of all these things? This is very important. That what is the role of noun in a sentence? What is the role of a pronoun? What is the role of a verb? What is the role of a certain conjunction? We are supposed to know about all these things, and when we ourselves are clear at first, then we will be able to develop the language of children, clear, keeping in view all these concepts. Clear? So now conclusively, how many parts of speech are there, Ji? Or how many, what you call that, grammatical categories are there, Ji? You are still quarreling with each other. Some say 7, some say 8, some say 9. Some even say that where to place helping verb of that. 6, 7. No? Noun, main talking about what? Noun, pronoun, adjective. Am I clear, Ji? Article, adverb, conjunction. These are main. No? So if you have grasp over all these main, Ji, do you think that to learn language or to improve language is difficult? No, not at all. Very easy. Clear? Instead of making them learn by heart the definitions of all these, we are supposed to check all these practically in a certain text. After that, I'm taking a start with what? Verb. I'm taking a start with what? Verb. Among all these parts of speech, or among all these words of a language, simply we call them what? Words of a language. Words of a sentence. Because we have discussed that sentence is combination of words. Among those words, the most important of all is what? Verb. And whenever I'm saying verb, it always has helping verb along with that. And what form, Ji? And why? As you can see it on screen, that whenever we talk about any language, every language is based upon what? Certain structure. Certain structure. That structure usually we talk about subject, verb, object, or verb, subject, object. Am I clear, Ji? Or sometime verb, object. For example, open the door. Clear? It could be anything. But At the moment, I am not talking about this structure. I am talking about the structure that changes the meanings. I am not talking about the placement. Because subject, noun, pronoun, it could be there. We'll discuss in detail. Ji. I'm talking about the basic difference of meanings. Ji. That usually it happens that when a child is dealing with certain book, that book is there with thousands of words, hundreds of situations, hundreds of sentences. The child gets confused that how to learn all of those. For example, 20 chapters are there, 20 units are there, ji, or 20 lessons are there. Ji. And all those 20 lessons are having what, ji, 2-3 pages, certain text is written there. The mind of that child, specifically now starting from the lower to higher, ji, gets confused. That is becoming a problem in what she reading. Clear? Why don't the students read the books? Because it seems to them that the book is containing all these thousands or hundreds of situations, different language structures. No, not at all. Because every language is there with certain fixed structures. Certain fixed structures. For example, just for an example, that when we talk about Urdu, for a certain situation of future, we use what? Ga. Though ga is not always there for future. Sometimes it is for past as well. For example, yesterday he would have come or he must have come, I didn't see. I didn't see. Now in this case, ga is for future? No, but it is for past. So mean to say that it could be there for present and it could be there for past. But usually we talk about what? Ga for future. Got my point? Even in Punjabi, we also use that word ga. मैं जावांगा, मैं लिखांगा, मैं करांगा. Got it? In your Hindko, we use it for what? Sa. Got my point? मैं खा, sa, पी, sa, jul, sa. Got my point? In Pashto, that usually I'm saying generally, not all the time, that we use what? Clear? Khuram, scum. Got my point? Zam. So that every language is there with certain sounds or certain words or certain structures which are fixed. Clear? That cannot be changed. That cannot be changed. Or we don't make them. We don't make them, we use them. Make it very clear. We are not language maker. We are language users. So while teaching, keep it clear in your mind that you are not trying to make them language makers. Language users. How to use that language? In the beginning simply, then later on in a perfect way with improved expression. With effective communication, as we discussed in previous sessions. With effective, influential expression. Strong expression. Finally, taking a start from where? Simply knowing about it, using it. And ultimately what? With strong expression. So as we are having all these structures there in Urdu, so in English, basically the structure is based upon what? Helping verb and verb. Am I clear, ji? Yes. And when we are saying that whatever language is there, it is based upon what? Certain structure. Certain structure. Urdu is there with its own structure. Arabic is there with its own structure. Clear? That Persian is there with its own structure. So the structure is based upon certain things. In tonic languages, structures are based upon what? Certain sounds. Clear? In certain languages, these structures are based upon what? For example, certain letters. For example, in Arabic, when I'm saying that falto, I'm using this only one letter to use it for me. I did it. Clear? When I'm saying that falna, I'm using this word na. Clear? For to make it what chi? Plural. That I'm using certain letters, clear, to change the meanings of that chi. Got my point? Or sometimes that Rabbi Shrach Li, for example, this is for me, and Rabbi Shrach Lana, this is for singular, this is for plural. Got my point? To go for the difference between singular and plural. But to talk about the structure in present, past and future, clear? I'm using what chi? Fa'ala and falto. Fa'ala means past. That person did that in past chi. And falta, this is for present and future. Clear? For example, daraba, past. This is for what chi? Present and future. Yadrebo. Present and future. I'm changing something or not? Clear? In past situation, I'm using what chi? This ba sound. Clear? In present and future, I'm adding what chi? Ya with extra with it. Got my point? Check it. In most of the situations, we do that. Clear? We change sometimes letters, sometimes sounds, and sometimes whole words. I may repeat that. Sometimes we change what? Letters. Sometimes we change what? Sounds. And sometimes we change the whole words. For example, for two in Arabic, we use what? For example, radiyallahu anhu, clear? An, ha, an, huma. Am I clear? I'm using what? That one letter. Clear? With two letters. Now with ha, I'm adding what? Alif. Then I'm using what? Three letters. Huma. Clear? Though I'm changing what? Pronouns here. I'm not talking about structure. But here I'm talking about structure. This is structure. This is structure of past. This is structure of future. Mean to say that these are fixed. These are fixed. Clear? And whatever other vocabulary, other situation is there, we use these fixed structures. Clear? We mold other words according to these structures. Clear? Same is the case here in English language. In English language, certain fixed structures are there. Clear? The whole language is based upon these fixed structures. And fixed structures are based upon, in English language, based upon helping verb and verb. Clear? Then the question comes that from where these structures come. Because in language there are thousands of, millions of situations. Millions of words are there. Clear? And that's why the children get confused. These come from where? Situations. For every situation we need certain structure. So situations are there in thousands and millions. So are we supposed to learn millions of structures? No. Humanly it's not possible. Then these situations are further divided in English language into what? Active and passive. Once again a confusion is here. That we are supposed to convert this active into passive. But practically in their books, while reading certain texts, while dealing with certain texts, sometimes situations are active, sometimes situations are passive, depending upon that situation. Depending upon situation. When I'm respected ma'am, I'm talking about you, ji. That she respects others. She respects others. This is one situation. And when I'm saying that she is respected by all, she is respected by others, what's the difference? Here she is what? Active. And here she is what? Passive. We thought that to convert active into passive and passive into active, it is what language? No, not at all. We don't convert anything, as we are saying that we are language users. This one is the real difference between active and passive situation. In one situation she is active, in another situation she is passive. In first situation she respects others, in second situation others respect her and she is respected. And what did we do? We did what? She respects others and others are respected by her. Others are respected by her. Am I clear, ji? Syntactically, structurally, it is correct. But semantically, it's a nonsense statement. In certain situations, it can be correct. But usually, this is not the requirement. This is not the requirement. Because that others are respected by her, ji. In certain situations, it is correct. But I want to say, I want to make her active and make her passive. To know about the difference between her active attitude and her passive attitude, this is a suitable example. That she respects, she is active. And she is respected, this is passive. In certain cases, I am saying that this can be correct. But it depends upon situation. Na? According to situation, I'll use this. But usually I will not make this. We don't make passive from active. Passives are already there. Actives are already there. Certain situations are active, certain situations are passive. For example, to move is what? Active situation. To walk, active. To go, active. To cook, active. Am I clear, ji? But what about getting beaten? Getting punished? This is a passive situation. The one who is getting punished is passive now. The one who is beating him is active. And the one who is beaten is passive. Can I say that he was beaten actively? Can I say that she burnt the meal deliberately? Meal is burnt mistakenly. Meal is burnt. Am I clear, ji? Milk is spilled. Milk is spilled. Nobody spills it deliberately, ji. Am I clear, ji? That sometime I'm saying that it depends upon situation. If somebody deliberately hits somebody else by car, that he hit him with car deliberately, then I can say. But usually it is what, ji? The person was hit accidentally. The person was hit. Do you break crockery at home deliberately? Can I say that she breaks crockery daily? Or she breaks crockery usually? What should I say that? Crockery is broken mistakenly usually by her. Crockery is broken. Claire, do you ignore the problems of your children all the time, regularly, deliberately? Can I say that she deliberately ignores the problem? No. What should I say that? That problems are ignored by her unknowingly because of her busy routine. She never ignores. She never ignores. Problems are ignored. Clear? This is that when I want to make the doer active, when I want to make the doer active, or when I want to focus on active person, that doer. It could be person, it could be anything. Am I clear? That is active situation. And when I don't want to involve the doer, when I don't want to focus on the doer, or when I even don't want to mention the doer, I want to focus on action, or when I want to focus on that object of action, then I'll go for what? Passive approach. So on the basis of these active and passive in English language, structures are different. When you are talking to me, and you are trying to say that the criminal was hanged. Criminal was hanged. Criminal. And instead of saying this, you mistakenly say that criminal hanged. Will I be able to understand you? It will lead to misunderstanding. Na? That's what I said now. That wrong language leads to what? Wrong communication, miscommunication. You wanted to say that criminal was hanged. Clear? This is a past situation. And in past, you are making this criminal here, in this case, passive. This can be accepted that criminal was hanged or criminal was punished. Criminal was punished. Instead of saying this, you say that criminal punished. Does it make some sense? Does it make some sense? What's the difference? Criminal punished, this is active structure. And criminal was punished, this is what? Passive structure. Clear? Situation is both past. Clear? In this instance, criminal was punished, criminal is passive. And criminal punished, now you made criminal what? Active. So while reading a text, always link it with what? Language development, make it clear. Or while speaking, while reading, always bother these structures. Make the child know the difference between these two situations by speaking repeatedly, or by making him practice through what? Text. Because in text, some statements are active, some statements are passive. And how will you highlight these two statements? How will you go for the difference between these two when it is in written form? Through helping verb and verb. How will you understand when somebody is speaking? Through helping verb and verb. When you are writing, how will you communicate? Whether you want to make her active or make her passive? Through helping verb and verb. And when you are speaking, how would the others would understand you? Through helping verb and verb. And how many are these total 24. A complete session is available on the channel of this school and with my name. Clear? That learn English with just 9 structures. In very much detail we have discussed. At the moment you are teachers, that we are concerned that how to practice it. The real task is to practice it through text. Clear? For that you can see that this total here are, how many are there? 24. Am I clear? That are you noticing something? That first column is for what? Present situations. Second column is what? Past situation. And third column is what? Future situation. Situations are 24. But are you noticing something that in certain situations, certain things are common? What is common there, In 3 situations, is/am/are is common. For example, routine situation passively is there. Progressive situation, continuous situation active is there. Continuous situation passive is there. How will I differentiate between these 3? Through the verbs. Through verb forms. Because when it is routine, I am using verbs third form. And it is passive situation. When it is what? Continuity, I am using what? Fourth form, ing form. When it is passive, I am not going for the detail. You will practice these through text, make it clear. Because the whole session is there on the channel. I am repeatedly telling that about all these structures, that learn English with 9 structures. These 24 structures are also there, made out of 9. Are you noticing something? that in routine activities, verb first form, do does. Do does means for negative, for interrogatives, and for stress. Clear? He goes. Clear? He does go. He doesn't go. Clear? Does he go? Doesn't he go? Am I clear? For singular. For plural, G, they go. They work. They do work. When I'm saying they work, you say, no, sorry, they don't work. I'm stressing. They do work. Clear? Do does are serving three purposes. For negative, for interrogative, and for stress. G. Then in past, G, who is serving this purpose? Did. But make it clear that did is there, not usually there in positive statements. Did is used there for stress in positive, if necessary. For example, she went there yesterday. No, you are saying, no, sir, she didn't. I say, no, she did go. She did go. Now this is for stress. She didn't go. This is for negativity. Did she go or didn't she go? This is for interrogation, interrogative. Got my point, G? And for future simple, will shall first. When I'm saying that will shall, clear, instead that all these models are same, G. Will first, may first, can first, might first, should first, would first. In detail in language structures there you can check that, G. Are you noticing the similarity here? What's the difference between present and past? Here I'm using what? Is, am, are. Here I'm using what? Was. The verb forms are same. Is, am, are third. Book is published. Book is published every year. Last year book was published. Next year book will be published. What did I change? Just helping verb. Verb remained what? Same. Are you noticing the three differences? These are the confusions of children, G. While dealing with a text, it is my responsibility being a teacher to highlight all these differences. Somewhere it will be what, G? Is third. Means is published. Sometime it will be is publishing. Sometime it will be is being published. So while dealing with the text, we are supposed to clear that extract all these, and these are there. These are there. All these different situations are there, G. Then you can notify there, G. Clear? Then you can highlight these things there. Then you can make them learn that in one situation we use what? Is third form, means is printed. Now look at this, another situation. I'm not saying is printed. Now I'm saying what? Is printing, or is writing, or is going. There's a difference between is written and is writing. These are their confusions. That's why they can't speak, they can't comprehend, they can't write. They mix up the similar sort of structures. Are you noticing then, G, the similarities of has, have? Clear? At one place has have third, then has have been third, then has have been ing, and then once again has have been third, G. I'm not going into detail, as I'm saying the whole session is there, G. But what is the purpose today? While dealing with a text, which we'll go for a practice now, real-time practice from a text, that we are supposed to highlight these things from text. Highlight these things while speaking. Because these two modes are there, G, for their learning. Either they learn through listening or they learn through reading. These two inputs are there. Generally, they themselves can't differentiate. They can't distinguish on their own. Sometimes they can, but it takes time now. And if you are clarifying it yourself, now look at this, that in this example, he has done his work. Clear? Second example, the work has been done. What's the difference? Clear? Third example, he has been doing. He has been doing. Then fourth, once again, it has been done for 2 years. Now what's the difference? Are you noticing that second and fourth structure of has, have is same? Because the passive situation of a passive structure of perfect and passive structure of perfect continuous both are same. And in passive of perfect continuous, there is being, has been being third word, but we skip being. So they both seem same. Got it, chi? Then in past we go for what, chi? Just had. In present we are going for the difference of has and have. Singulars has, plurals have. Clear, including I and you. Clear, in past, see, with every, whether singular or plural, we are using what? Had. And there in future we are using what, chi? Will have. Then if will have is clear, then he would automatically learn what, chi? Would have, could have, must have, might have, should have. Got my point? From these structures, rest of the building of language will be developed. When basics are clear, when the child starts knowing that was is only not just one structure. Was could be, for example, you are having three here. I can go for fourth one. For example, he was to go to college, he was to go to office, but he had to take leave because of sickness. Was to. Am I using here any was to infinitive? No. That is fourth type of was. Fifth type of was, when there is no verb after was, then was itself is a verb. He was a nice person. How many types you are having now of was? 5. Am I clear, ji? So how will the child learn all these things, ji? It's your, it's our, it's my responsibility that while dealing with the text, that's what we are calling, ji, textbook adaptation. We are not supposed to just translate it. We are supposed to tell him the differences between was third, was ing, was being third, was to first, and was with no verb. Got it, chi? Now we'll go for a practice of that, chi, practical work through text, chi. Got my point? Okay, ji, now you have done certain practice with that text, ji. Clear? We'll go for it here, ji, once again, ji. You can screen there, you can see it there on screen. I'm going for it, ji, how to go for it, ji. That how to develop the language of students using text. Clear? I'm very clearly, emphatically repeating it, that how to develop the language. Clear? Which language? English language. As a what? Second language. Clear? In schools, clear, by teachers. Ji. Using what? Text. Using what? Reading. Ji. For example, ji, the tallest mountain peaks are always there. Ji. Look at this. As I said that every English language structure is based upon what? Helping verb and verb. First one is here what, ji? Are. How to go for it, ji? That did I ask you about article the? No. Did I ask you about tallest? No. Did I ask you about mountain? Not at all. Peaks? No. Clear? I stopped where? Are. This is the first phase. Clear? In first phase, from lower. For example, ji, grade 1 is there, ji. Clear? Here, I'll go for the differences between what, ji? Is, am, are, or are, was, were, will be. For example, ji, there are. Clear? For current situation. Previously, there were. And in next, there will be. There will be. Currently, are. Am I clear, ji? Previously, were. And in future, will be. Clear? We are supposed to make them all these 3 times, ji. Present, past, and future, which we call tense. Clear? Separately, their teaching is of no use. This is the practical application of that, ji. From lower level. From lower. I'm saying grade 1. I'm saying grade 2. Clear? Even before that, ji, the differences between is, am, and are. Because the child of grade 1 doesn't know. Clear? Where to use is, where to use am, where to use are, ji. Am I clear? I just focused on what, ji? This helping verb. Usually it is what? Helping verb. Clear? Then we raise questions on it, ji. that who are. Usually in response to what who ji, we get what nouns or pronouns. In the coming slides, we'll talk about all those noun, pronoun, articles separately. But at the moment I am concerned with what chi structure. And basic structure is based upon what chi, helping verb and verb ji. Who are. And then let the child find himself. Who are. Because when he is doing so, he is working upon his comprehension skill. Comprehension skill ji. In response to that, he'll get obviously the subject of that ji. Who is the doer? What are ji? He'll get the object of that ji. The next question, all W, 5 W's, H questions. Clear? Where, why, when, as per line. As per the given text. Clear? From that given text, you can make the questions on spot. That who are there ji? Got my point? Who are there ji? Let them search. For example, who are there? Can you see it on screen? Is it visible? Say it please. Who are there? People are there? Mountains. Very good to say it now. Clear? Mountains ji. Which sort of mountains? Tallest mountains. Clear? In advanced Montessori, he previously we discussed he got the concept of tall, taller, tallest ji. Am I clear? In concept we talk about big and small. We talk about comparisons ji. But I'm not going for that comparison ji, third degree of that or something like that. No ji. The tallest mountain. Are the tallest mountains are there or are the tallest mountain peaks are there? Peaks are there. There's a difference between mountain and a mountain peak. Am I clear ji? First thing ji. That by doing so, you are actually working upon their comprehension skill. I am not translating it. I am enabling them to translate on their own. I am not interpreting the text. I am enabling them to interpret it on their own. First thing. And secondly, when repeatedly we are raising certain questions all the time, it becomes their habit. It becomes their habit. Then knowingly, unknowingly, while listening to something or while reading something, they will automatically, their brain will automatically raise these questions. And they'll be able to infer, to extract meanings, clear, of language on their own ji. Am I clear ji? Got the point? Then ji, after that, we can also go for what ji. For example, what was what ji? The difference between is and are. Second one was what ji? That we'll make them practice all the three. Clear? At lower level, grade 1, 2, 3, 4. Clear? For example, ji, currently there are. Clear? Previously there were. Clear? And in future there will be. Clear? We'll make them practice all the time. From every line, all these three structures, present, past and future. Then you further next level ji, we can go for once again that difference ji, that when we are saying were, the different types of words ji, as we discussed, that were with verbs third form, then were with verbs ing form, then verb with what? Being third form. We can go for the example, oral examples at least ji. At least ji. Clear? That books were published last year. Elections were held last year. For example, clear? That they were teaching. They were studying. They were studying. Roads were being constructed. Buildings were being constructed. And now you are having a fourth option of that ji. In all these three, you are having what ji? Certain action words are there ji. Clear? But sometime there is no action word after was or were or is am are or will shall be. After them, after all these three, there is no verb. When there is no verb, it means that this helping verb becomes what? A verb itself ji. A verb itself. Then you can go for its variety ji. Am I clear ji? For example, I was. I was. Yesterday I was. Today I am. Clear? Tomorrow I will be. I will be. Got my point, ji? This is the right way to make them practice the basic structures, to know about the differences, ji. Okay, ji. The tallest mountains peaks are, ji. Peaks are. They are what, ji? They are what? They are there. They are there. If you please could speak louder. They are there, ji. Clear? They are there. Where? Are they closer? In a distance. In the distance. Clear? I'm talking about the lowest level. Clear? Grade 1. Clear? Then even if in grade 4, 5, certain children don't know. Even when you are asking them question, clear, they'll stare back. Clear? You are supposed to make them go, concentrate on the text. This is what reading with understanding. This is the real reading skill. Clear? Not just reading of something, that how to extract things. That now two purposes are being served. Number one purpose is what? Here's what? Learning structures of language. Learning structures of language. Clear? Means language development. Along with that, secondly, he is developing the habit of what? Inferring, extracting information. Extracting information. The information is knowingly or unknowingly being encarved on his mind. That he is clear that mountains are not there, mountain peaks are there. He is getting it that mountains are not closer, mountains are far. Clear? In the distance. The sun rises. Secondly is what? What is the structure here? The sun rises. Clear? Whenever we are talking about daily routine, you can go for 4 or 5 examples. I wake up. I wake up. They wake up. Clear? Ali wakes up. Ali wakes up with the addition of s or z sound. Got my point? The sun is alone. Sun is alone. That's why I'm using what? Rises. Am I clear, ji? And when I'm saying people, then I'll use what? People rise. People rise. Clear? When I'm talking about negativity, doesn't rise. Doesn't rise. Clear? Here once again, don't rise. In positive, both are different. But in negative, both are same. Both are same. Knowingly or unknowingly, the things are being encarved on his mind that after these do, does, did, will, may, might, can, could, usually we use the original form of the verb. One thing. And secondly, when we are talking about alone entities except I and you, we add the sound s or z with it. Clear? An individual person talks. Clear? Many people talk. Individual person goes. Many people go. Clear, ji? Then once again, the structure. Clear? Along with that, it's past, ji. That when sunrise, whatever is going on daily, whenever we are talking about daily routine, ji. Clear? You daily go to school. Clear? You daily learn something. You daily read something. Clear? Alone, ji. Ali daily reads. Ali daily studies. Ali daily goes. Clear? The idea of daily routine. That why do we use this structure? Clear? For routine activities. Actively. Routine activities actively. When the doer is active. Active situation is there. Then the past of that, what is that? Rose. Sun rises daily. Sun rises daily. But yesterday sun rose. And tomorrow sun will rise. Sun will rise. Clear? With every line you are making them practice. Got it? Now imagine about the result. If you are regularly doing it, one thing, language is being served. Language is being worked upon. Language is being developed. On the other hand, once again, the same question. Who rises? The sun rises. Where? Behind them. Behind Them. Make them go for the exact words used there in the text. Let them search on their own. In the beginning, you'll find that majority of the children, specifically at lower level, even I have noticed it at higher level, college level, I have seen the students. They are not watching the text. They even don't know that from which lines you are going for. Clear? The structure. Clear? So make them concentrate. It also serves their concentration level. It also improves their concentration level. It also serves their involvement. Their involvement. I am doing the text through them. Clear? This line is very important. I am not doing it. I am doing it through them. I am doing it by involving them. Got my point, Ji? Okay, now when I am saying behind them, them is referring to what? The sun rises behind what? Buildings. Always give them options. The next step for you. Always give them options. Clear? Don't get them stuck. Clear? Give them some cushion. Give them different options when they are searching. Does the sun rise? Look at this. I am now using question format of that. The sun rises. Does the sun rise? Clear? This is from here. This is what language development through reading. But when I am speaking, the language development through listening. Does the sun rise behind the walls, behind the buildings, behind what? Mountain. Behind mountains or mountain peaks? Mountain peaks. Am I clear, Ji? That this minute detail is very important to make them concentrate. Next, see, at dawn the air fills with birds and tweets. Birds and tweets. Regarding now, very important thing, vocabulary, Ji. Never give them the meaning. Never dictate them the meaning. Let them infer the meaning from the context. Clear? If in certain situation, make them consult dictionary on their own. Clear? When we give them meanings, that new words and meanings, no. Ask them to find out the new words on their own. Clear? Then ask them to search the meanings from dictionary on their own. Why dictionary? When they are searching for one word in dictionary, automatically they check for 3-4 words above that word and below that word. Am I clear, Ji? It also serves their sense of inquiry. When we are giving them meanings all the time, Ji, will you be there to give them the meanings of every word all the time throughout the life with them? No. Because mostly this is called skimming. What am I doing, Ji? I am skimming the text. Technically this is called what? Skimming the text. That whatever they can infer, clear, let them. Whatever they can't, clear, make it some assignment. Or give them confidence. When they get stuck somewhere, then they don't move ahead. Ji. Look, for example, Ji, at dawn, Ji, clear, suppose they don't know the meanings. Let them infer the meanings, clear, on their own, Ji. The air fills with, Ji. What is the next structure here, Ji? Fills. What is it? Fills. Air fills. Isn't it the similar structure to the previous? The previous one what, Ji? Rises. Clear? Rises is used for daily activity. Fills is also for daily routine. Clear? Fills mean what, Ji? Clear? You can go over what, Ji? Do you fill your bottle with water? Don't give them meaning. Don't you fill your bottles with fresh water? They will get it, Ji. Fills, Ji. Then, Ji, that daily it fills. Yesterday it filled. And tomorrow it will fill. It will fill. And once again, the sun fills. And people, the boys fills. Boys fills or fill? Fill. Clear? Remember that. Always go for make them practice the difference between fills and fill. With singular subject to a fills. With plural, with I, fill. Am I clear, Ji? Who fills, Ji? Is it only the air? Is it normal air? There is something specific regarding that air. Which air? Dawn. Air at the dawn. Air at the dawn. Sun rises when? Sun rises when? In the evening? Sun rises when? In the afternoon? In the morning? The sun rises in the morning?
Yes, sir.
You are saying no. Are you awake? Are you from some other planet? The sun rises when? In the morning. So dawn could be their morning or not? Yes or no?
Yes.
Today I think that I'm dealing with some sleepy sort of people. Very boring. You people really bored me today. I'm not boring. Clear? Because this is my task. Clear? When I'm saying that the sun rises, clear? Let the child infer the meaning himself that the sun rises in the morning. I gave him the clue. The sun rises in the morning. From morning, he will link the meaning of morning with what? Dawn. With what? Dawn. It means that I'm adding into his vocabulary. I'm giving him new words. Giving him new. Wow, you got today now a new word for morning. What is that called? Dawn. What is that called? Dawn. Am I clear, ji? And then sun sets when, ji? In the noon? When? In the evening. And that is what? Dusk. That is what? Dusk. Clear? The sun rises in dawn and then sun sets in dusk. Clear? From dusk, automatically he will get. I'm not supposed to go for Urdu translation. Make it clear, ji. I'll have to go for certain synonyms. I'll have to go for certain vocabulary through which I'll give him meanings of that, ji. The idea of that, ji. Okay, ji. The air at the dawn, specific air, not all the time. Morning time air, clear, fills. Air fills. It fills what, ji? With birds and tweets. Birds and tweets, ji. Clear? That what is that, ji? That air fills the environment. Air fills the surroundings. Clear? Or air is filled. If you ask me, though it is from Cambridge book. Clear? I'm not objecting them. But according to me, it should have been what, ji? Air is filled. Air is filled. But though it is from a textbook of Cambridge. Grade 7? Grade 7, ji. Okay, ji. Air is filled with. Air is filled with what, ji? The voices of birds. Have you ever heard the voices of birds? What do the birds do in the morning? Chirping. The bird chirp. The bird chirp. I'm adding into new words. Clear? The birds chirp, ji. Clear? And then the bird tweets. Have you ever heard about Twitter? Have you ever heard about, how many of you have heard about Twitter? Am I dealing with alien today? Don't you people know about Twitter? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. The Twitter is from what? Tweets of words. Got my point? That, now you can give them that from the Twitter word came from where? The tweets of birds. That's why it is said that Falan person, clear, that tweet. He tweets. Clear, he tweeted. Got my point, ji? Is that clear? So you are adding into their knowledge, ji. This is language development, ji. Not by giving them Urdu meanings, Urdu translations of that, ji. In the growing light, ji. Clear, do notice growing. We have not done it yet, ji. Clear, growing is participle here. We'll do it. Clear, at the moment leave it. I'm just focusing on what, ji? Helping verb and verb. Clear, in the coming session we'll talk about, ji. Parveen spots the remains, ji. What is next structure? Spots. Are you noticing that? The text is serving the same structure. Now, if you are doing it properly, can you say that the child is unable to speak or read or write or understand the language properly? No. The problem is not there with the children. The problem is there with our methodology. That we are translating for them. That's why even after second year, the children are unable to understand language clearly. They are unable to speak. They are unable to write on their own. Because they are given with what? Translated texts. Clear? With translators. The teacher is not the translator. The teacher is language developer, language instructor. Look at this, she spots once again the same or not? Clear? That who spots she? Who spots? Parveen. Clear? Spots. She spots daily. She spots daily. One thing. Secondly, ji, sometime when you are talking about some past imagination, some past story, you are giving some news of past event, ji, you also use what, ji? Spots, fills. For example, I am standing here, ji. Clear? I am imagining that. Clear? When I was 10 years old. Clear? I go there. I watch something. Clear? I listen to the... Now, what am I doing? I am narrating some past event in form of what? News as an imagination. As in my imagination, I am there in past. So, you can talk about some previous situation when you imagine using what? This structure like fills, clear? Like spots. Am I clear, ji? You are adding into their knowledge. That this structure is not only for routine. This structure is also used for what, ji? To talk about some past news and to talk about some past imagination. Past imagination. Am I clear, ji? You are giving them variety. Sometimes they get it. Sometimes they won't. But what about the whole book? Don't you think that somewhere it will be routine? Somewhere it will be past news. Somewhere it will be past imagination. Am I clear, ji? That it's not necessary that they are getting all the meanings at the moment. No. You just gave the idea. The idea is there in his mind. Whenever he is finding it, he will automatically grasp that, ji. Okay, ji. She spots what, ji? She spots what? The remains. The remains. Now look at this, ji. Once again a difference. It's not necessary that, clear, S is always there with verb. S is also used for what? Noun. To make it what? Plural. And it is reverse. Whenever I'm adding S or ES or IES something with noun, it makes it what? Plural. And whenever I'm adding S with or ES with verb, it makes it what? Singular. It makes it what? Singular. Clear? When I'm adding it with noun, it makes it plural. When I'm adding it with verb, it makes it what? Singular. For example, even with noun, I'm adding G. Boy. I'm adding S. It becomes what, G? Boys. It becomes what? Boys. Clear? Now, boys is a plural. No? Clear? With boys, I'll use what, G? Play. Boys play. In routine. Boys play. Clear? If I'm using it with sound with noun, I will not use it with verb. I can't say boys plays. I can't repeat it. I can't go for doubling. I can't go for doubling. Got it, G? But on the other hand, when I'm saying boy, I'm removing S from boy. Then I'll add it with what? Verb. Boy plays. Boy plays. I'm giving them difference. Clear? Through different example. For example, Ali plays. Clear? Asif plays. Akram plays. All of you play. Boys play. Friends play. Am I clear, ji? Girls play. So the idea is getting from the lowest to higher level. Ji. Got my point, ji? Okay, look at this now, ji. That not all the time S is there with verb. Sometimes it is with noun. Now what is remains here, ji? Can it be some verb? Can it be some verb? Verb was what, ji? Parveen spots. Parveen spots. When it is already verb, can the remains be verb? No. We can't use two verbs closer to each other. Can be there in different clauses, can be there in different sentence. Am I clear, ji? That usually it doesn't happen, ji. Here remains is what, ji? That remnants. The remaining things. The remaining things. For example, that from lower level, ji, have you taken your lunch? Yes. Clear? Are there any remains of it? Are there any remains of it? Am I clear, ji? Remains mean that whatever is left behind. Whatever is left behind. Remnants. Remaining things. Remaining things. For example, I am sending all of you out. Except, clear, one boy. Except one girl. So how many remain there? One. They remain one. Am I clear? Remains, remain one. It is also used for verb. It is also used for sometime noun. If it had been a verb, it would have been used here. I'm talking about level G. Clear? From lower level, you will not discuss these things. Clear? At higher level, lower level means that when their sentence structure is not clear. When their sentence structure is clear, when they are clear about spots, then you can go for detail. I'm talking about then G, after grade, specifically grade 3. Clear? When their sentence structure is well formed, then you can go for these things G. That here, this is verb and this is what? Noun. Remains G. She spotted. She spotted. She spotted here means what? Spots mean what? Can you see spots on the carpet? Can you talk about spotlight? Have you ever seen the spotlight? Have you ever seen the light in stadium which is used there to spot something? What is that? To spot means to search, to find out. She found. She found. What she? Remains. Remainings. Remainings of what she? Of a campfire. Of a campfire. It means that there was a campfire. There was a campfire, which is no more there. When the fire is not there, what is left behind? Remains of fire. And what do you call the remains of fire? Ashes. You call what? Ashes. Am I clear? She found, it means that she found ashes. She spotted ashes. Now, Ji, next thing, Ji. Previously, we said what, Ji? Number one, I'm serving what? Language structures. Secondly, I'm serving what? Comprehension skill. And thirdly, now when I'm using what? Ji? Synonyms of that, Ji. I'm also serving what? Writing skill. The way a student reads, exactly the way he writes it. Clear? The clearer reading is, clear, the clearer writing would be. Clear? The better reading is there with understanding, the better writing would be there with clarity. Am I clear, Ji? Now the child will not copy that. He will not learn it by heart. He will not cram it. Clear? He will not go for that rut. Clear? He'll go for what, Ji? Self-writing. For what? Self-writing. That Parveen found, it was what? Spotted, na? I'm changing the word. To give him confidence that instead of spotted, you can go for what? Found. She found ashes. She found ashes there of fire, Ji. Where, Ji? At the side of path. At the side of path. Am I clear up here, Ji? Look at the next, Ji. We run and place our hands over it, Ji. Clear? We run. What is next structure here? Run. Previously it was what, Ji? Spots. When Parveen was alone, Parveez was alone. Then we said what? Spots. Now it means that she is not alone. Somebody else is also there. Plural. Somebody else is there. Plural. Clear? Then she used what? Run. Clear? A boy runs. A boy runs. And boys run. Clear? They run now. They run yesterday. Ran. They ran yesterday. Ran. Clear? They will run tomorrow. They will run. All the three structures, 3 times. Clear? They run now or they run for the time being or routine. Clear? They ran in past. They will run in future. Who Who run ji? We. Who are we? We don't know. We don't know. Let's explore from the text ji. We run. We run and we place. And we place. Simple concept ji. Whenever the helping verb, clear, pronoun or helping verb or to of infinitive is being repeated, we don't repeat. We don't repeat. For lower level, you can simply say that when he or we or she, when it is being repeated in the same sentence, don't repeat it. For higher level, you can go for this. For example, it was what? We run. We run. And we place. We place. Can you find we second time? No. So what is it? We run and place. We run and we place. For example, we are going and we are struggling. We are going and we are struggling. Look at this now, ji. What is being repeated? Are. What else is being repeated? We. Now read it, ji. We are going and struggling. This is language development. Through what? Text. I'm getting all these from where, ji? From some grammar book? Am I talking about some grammar? No, I'm talking about certain situations. From real language. We run, ji, and place our hands over it, ji. Now, ji. That sometime another, ji. What did I say? First usage of this run or runs. Or first usage of this present structure. Present structure. Indefinite structure or simple structure. First one was what, ji? Routine. Clear? The sun rises daily. The sun rises daily. Second time we said what, chi? To talk about some past news. Past news. Clear? For example, ji, that Russia invades Ukraine. It happened yesterday. And today I'm saying what, chi? And today I'm listening to it in news, chi. Russia invades Ukraine. Past news, but in present structure. Sometimes we use it thirdly for what, chi? What did I say? What was the third usage? Third usage, imagination. Third usage is what? Imagination, ji. Clear? That for example, I am talking about some past event of my life or somebody's life and I am imagining it myself there. Then I say that, chi, I stand there and I have watched the birds. I feel the wind. Am I feeling it now? Or do I feel it in routine? Am I talking about routine? Am I talking about past news? No. I'm talking about past imagination. Now here is a fourth usage of that, ji. Sometime we use what, ji? Simple present structure for future. For what? Future. Instead of we will go, we say what? We go. We go. Are you noticing the variety, ji? One structure serving the purpose of 4 different types of situations. And you are getting it where, ji? In a single text, in a single piece of text. We run here means what, ji? We will run. And we will place our hands over it. Over what? Over what? Over the table? Over the path? Over the remains of fire. Over the remains of fire. When you are feeling cold, where do you place your hands? Over the heater. Over the heater. Indirectly now you are also working upon what? Preposition. Development of what? Preposition. over, under, up, down, over the fire or over the remains of fire. There must be coals. Sometimes fire is not there, ji, but heat is there or not? There or not? It is there. Na? So they go there and they place their hands over it to warm their hands. Clear, ji? It's still warm. Now look at this, ji. It's still warm. It's still warm. Even from the text you could have taken the meaning, ji, that what was there. You are saying that they place their hands over path. Look at this, ji. There's a difference between this it's and this it's, ji. This it's is used instead of some object. For example, I have a marker. I have a marker. I have a pointer. Its color is black. Its color is black. Possessive case. Possessive pronoun. What is pronoun? When I am using something instead of noun. Look at this, see. I have a marker. I bought it. I bought it. Now it is what? Being used instead of noun. I'm talking about the lowest level, G. Clear? When instead of marker I'm using what? It. For humans we use what? Chi. He. Boys. For girls we use what? She. When more people are there we use what? They. I'm talking about lower level, G. Grade 1, 2, 3, lower level. I'll go for the differences of all, G. For example, if it is marker, for marker I'm using what? It. For example, I name somebody, G. Ali is sitting there. That I don't want to name Ali. Now what will I use? He. Clear? Suppose that Saima is sitting there, G. Clear? I don't want to name. I don't want to use her name. Then I'll use what? She. When you are all sitting there, G. Clear? For children, I'll use what? They. I'll use what? They. Clear? And when I'm talking about you, boy, then I'll say what? Him. Clear? Or when I'm talking about your possession, then I'll say what? His. When I'm talking about girl, then I'll say what? She? Hers. When I'm talking about you all, then I'll say what? She? Theirs. For example, I just picked up what? She? One aspect of pronoun. And what is that? Possessive pronoun. What is that? Possessive. I'm repeat. That, for example, is from lower level. Children are there. I'm using a word for them from a text. That marker. That I'm telling them that. Secondly, I don't want to repeat marker all the time. I want to change it. Clear? When we don't want to repeat the name, instead of name we use a word. And that word is called what? Pronoun. That word is called what? Pronoun. Am I clear? For example, in Urdu I can explain them that Ali. Clear? Ali is writing. Secondly, will I say that Ali is reading, Ali is flan? I don't want to repeat Ali. Then I say that wo likh rahe hain. Wo. So what is wo in Urdu? Pronoun. What is in English? I will say that he. I don't want to repeat his name. Girl, Saima, I'll say what? She. For children, I'm actually developing what? The concept of pronouns in their minds. But specifically here I'm concerned with what? Possessive. That pronoun is there with cases. We'll discuss in detail. Clear? Pronoun is there with what? Cases. Clear? That for example, for ownership, G. Clear? If it is mine, it is mine. I'll use for myself I, then I'll say what? Mine. I'll say what? Mine. For boy, I'll say what? His. For girl, I'll say what? Hers. I'm saying it quickly here, no? because you're all teachers now, but in classroom I'll make it slow. Clear? I'll announce it slowly. One by one, picking them. Picking up the boys, picking up the girls. Got it, ji? Using it actually for them. Clear? Ali is sitting there. He is writing. This marker is his. This marker is his. If that marker is of that girl, then what would I say? This marker is hers. This marker is hers. If this is for everybody, this marker is theirs. This marker is theirs. But these are all human beings. But sometimes neuter gender is there. Clear? And if it is not human being, it is not human being. Inhuman entity is there. Then I'll use what? It. For example, that I brought, this is a fan. I brought it. I don't want to repeat fan again and again. This is a fan. I brought a fan. Clear? I like this fan. Am I clear, ji? I get wind from this fan. I don't want to say fan again and again. What would I say? It. This is a fan. I brought it. I brought it. And when I want to talk about its something, its ownership, clear? Then I'll use what, ji? Its. Then I'll use what? Its. Its color is white. Its quality is good. Its, this is what, ji? Possessive. And now look at this. What is this? It with this comma, apostrophe. This is contracted short form of it is. It is. Just like when we say can't, it is short form of cannot. When we say don't, it is short form of do not. Sometime to bring ease in language, to say it easily, we make their forms short. Make their forms short. We cut them short. Using this apostrophe, this reverse comma is called what? Apostrophe. Now it is the short form of, it's the short form of what? It is. And this it is different. For children, I'll just talk about this one. Or just talk about this one. I'll not go for both at a time. Make it clear. Depending upon the level. Depending upon the level. For example, grade 1, 2, 3 is there. I'll just go for this one. I'll just give them the idea of contracted forms. Contractions. For example, above 4/5, then I'll go for what? The difference between this its and this its. This it is basically short form of it is. And it is what? Possessive pronoun of it. Look at this. Its here is what? It is. What is the verb here now? Is. Previously, what was the verb there? Are. Okay, can you remember? We talked about that. Are. That time we discussed what, the difference between is and are. For small children. For junior school. Lower level. Am I clear, chi? Got my point, chi? That time we discussed, no? It was are, no? Where was it, chi? The first line, chi. Peaks are. Peaks are. That time we discussed what? Is. And am. Is it. Now look at this. It is. What is, chi? What is? The remains of fire. Remains of fire. Remains of fire. If I'm saying remains of fire, then it will be remains of fire are. Remains of fire are. And fire is. Fire is. And remains are. Remains are. It is still warm. It is warm. It is warm. Now warm is what, chi? Adjective. Adjective. You are adding something into the meanings of what? It. It can also be called agent at higher level, but I'm not concerned with that, chi. I'm just shortly giving them the idea, chi. that usually whenever these stative verbs are there, be forms are there, copula is there, after that we use what chi? Adjectives. It is good, it is bad, it is tall, it is warm. Am I clear ji? Are you noticing something? This was what chi? Model reading. Clear? Reading by the teacher through students. Then you can assign them certain tasks. For example, ji, read, clear, from line number this to line number this and find out all the structures. Find out all the structures in classroom. Make it clear, not in homework. In front of you. Once again, you can divide them in groups. Then you will make them extract these structures on their own. Sometimes they go for right, sometimes they go for wrong. You are there to help them out. Am I clear, ji? Then thirdly, you will assign this task for home reading. And just with one task. That today's task, for example, ji, they will just find out the different forms of helping verb and verb. Clear? The rest of the things I just discuss with you people, to give you an idea that sometime, clear, at number one, basically you are supposed to develop their structures. After that, then you can go for what chi? Noun. The application of noun. What's the role of noun in language chi? Then ji, role of adjectives, role of adverbs, role of articles, one by one, depending upon their level. Got my point, ji? That's all for today, ji.